What's up, everybody? It's JLee. I'm here on JP's Egotastic FunTime, talking about my new film, Atypical Wednesday, which comes out at the end of this month, June 26th. I'm wearing my Orville Season 3 hat because we are coming back, and when we do, it's going to be big boom. That's what I'm talking about.
It's true. He was just talking about that.
What makes Gabe happy? I don't know. This is therapy, Gabe.
Yo, what are you doing?
Hitchhiking.
I'll give you a ride home, yeah?
Okay. Wait, this is not my house.
What do you mean this is not your house?
It's by the beach.
By the beach? We in the valley. Alec, we're in the valley.
What do we do to you, huh?
Get on the car, get on the car!
I don't want to do it!
Boy, you better breathe, get 2 strikes.
Awesome!
Yeah, big dog, bang it out.
It's me, Alec. A-L-E-C. Right in a car, going real fast, making it rain.
Stop that. When you think about rapping, just don't. You know?
Okay.
Boom. All the booms. You got your Orville beanie on, huh?
I did it specifically for you and this interview, and because Season 3 is going to come back.
Oh, good. We're waiting for it. And
I know.
And I've had a consensus. I took a consensus with everybody, and everybody says, however long it takes, we're going to wait.
We're coming back. We're going to be there, and this season is going to be, I'll rock this just for you, JP.
All right, man. I need to get me one of those. I got the Season 1 hat back there, the Season 2 hat. Gonna get me that Season 3 beanie at some point.
I had to steal this one, bro. I don't be getting nothing from set, man. I don't never get.
Well, you gotta get what you want to get, whether or not somebody's gonna, give it to you. As long as you work for it and you work for it.
Exactly. It's nice to meet you officially via Zoom and all that stuff.
I know. I think it's very nice to meet you as well in what is in this day and age considered meeting in person. And one of the reasons that I wanted to meet you specifically, I started following you because of the Orville. I followed everybody from the Orville just because you never know, what they're going to share or,
right.
Good times going on with the show. And so I started following you, and you were putting out a lot of you're working out, you're playing music, you're giving your thoughts, what's going on with you. You are doing things. It's like you say all the time, do the work. That stuck with me because I'm somebody, my entire life, I've been trying to figure out how to do the work. And so when I see your posts, it gives me that reminder.
Right. I dig that.
What makes you like that? Why are you doing the work? Most people don't.
I'll tell you, I was talking to somebody about this the other day because they asked me, what is it about not the work ethic, I guess, but just why am I continually doing things? And, I grew up playing piano. Yeah. And I think that discipline has stuck with me my entire life because, you think about it, growing up doing classical piano, you get ready for a competition, you work hard, you practice, you get it together, you go do the competition is over, you win or you lose. I won. Thankfully, I was pretty good at that, Boom, right? And then you start over.
Yeah.
You win one, you prep, do it, it's done, start over. So one thing my piano teacher used to always say was, never rest on your laurels. So, if you finish something, you achieve something, that's not the only thing you will achieve. You have to keep doing it. So the concept of doing the work is something that I really, really, really I try to embody every day. And also, I'll be trying to tell people, you have to fall in love with the work.
Yeah.
You really have to fall in love with doing that nitty gritty work.
Well, because the work is the thing. The achievement, that goal you get to, that's just with a piano competition or a concert, that's just a few minutes. Yeah. It's just an hour. You accomplished it right at the end and you finish that. It goes, you feel it for a few seconds. Yeah. And then what do you have? The bulk of it was that work. Yeah. A lot of people don't love doing the work though.
No.
No.
They want to do the results and but you got to do the work.
Yeah, that's part of, being a human. We're dreamers. We like to dream. We dream of that end result.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that keeps us back, because we, you want to lose weight, which of course, I'd love to get fit, health reasons, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I dream of that end goal. Oh, it feels so great. It's going to be amazing. And then you realize, oh, that's doing the hard part every day. And, and maybe a year from now, you got some of those results.
Yeah. I totally get it, bro. I think there was a BoJack Horseman episode my buddy talked about. I guess it was at the end. He was running up this mountain and he was just struggling. And I forget the name of the character, but it's like the wise monkey or something like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he's running, passing him up, and he says something to him. Like BoJack falls down, he's out of breath, and he's like, it gets easier, but you have to keep doing it. Yeah. That's the hard part.
Yeah, we're fighting as humans. We're fighting against eons of evolution. Keeping us wanting that instant gratification.
Yeah, it's not how it works. Not how it works, man. You got to do it. So yeah, man, I appreciate you recognizing that, though.
Part of my personal journey, I think, right now, and you're part of that journey, and other people out there that I just see doing these things, and many of us are always just sitting here going, "This is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. This is what I need to do it." Then you tell somebody that that's what you want to do, and then you kind of feel a little instant gratification as if you did anything.
Yeah.
And then you don't do anything.
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. Yeah.
Well, speaking of doing it, you, JLee, aka John Lamar, has gone from being chief engineer to chief everything with the new film that you came out with. You're doing everything. You wrote, directed, produced Atypical Wednesday, which is coming out this month. What was it like going from being a part of something to being the thing to bring everyone else together?
It was a lot of fun, a lot of work, but great. And I will tell you, like, I've always been making my own stuff anyway. I've been directing and writing and making stuff before I got on Orville. Mm-hmm. One thing that Orville really helped me out is because Seth and I are buddies, and seeing him literally be the commander of the ship, pun intended, acting, writing, directing, that really translated for when I made my movie. And again, I'd already kind of, I'd made my show Two Black Dudes. I was making, and I've directed some other stuff, but Atypical Wednesday is it's a feature. It's a big movie. Mm-hmm. So to be in the director's chair and the lead and the writer, there was a lot of stuff I learned from just being on Orville, watching, Seth maneuver and looking at playback and, seeing how you want to do it. There was a lot of that stuff, the stuff that really worked, I was able to take and make the movie. But it was a lot of fun, a lot of work. We shot, I think, that movie in like 12 days.
That's doing the work.
It was ambitious, but we got it done because I had some dope producers. I got to shout out Stephen Love and Joaquin DeLeon. They really had it sort of like an oil machine. So we didn't have a lot of extra time. So we had to make sure we knocked it out of the park when we could. So I'm really, really proud of it.
Well, I'm glad you got it done because, as we know, pretty much everything in Hollywood has been shut down for a few months.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you had to get it done before. I mean, how long ago did you do it? Because the Orville filming began back in October.
Yeah, so it's funny, man. So I knew I had a small window between both seasons, okay? So between season 2 and 3, I knew I had a window to make this movie, get it done, get it in the can. Because my biggest goal was to get it shot, right? You can deal with post after. So we got it shot. Thankfully, that was smooth. And then we went into post-production. Orville season 2 came out. And then we kept fine-tuning, edit. And it just so happened to work out that by the time I got the distribution deal, everything was finished. It was right in this window of the world turning completely crazy. Like, I don't think you can get crazier than the most crazy, insane, crazy thing. And then the world was like, hold my beer, right? So I just got really fortunate by doing the work and not worrying about the end result. It just so happened a lot of my stuff was done So during this time, I've been able to really just focus on the projects that were finished. Atypical Wednesday coming out, getting those last minute things, fine tune, turn it to the distributor. So, I didn't know this was going to happen, but it kind of just worked out in sort of the middle of the storm.
Well, I hear next month the aliens are going to land to really put the icing on the cake.
The only way that shocks me is if they land on the Orville ship and I see the entire cast. I see us, but like bizarro versions of us. Yeah. That's the only thing that'll make me shocked at this point.
Well, when you're talking about, you weren't focused on the end result with the movie, with Atypical Wednesday, we're focused on the work. That goes right back to what we were just talking about earlier. With the journey is the work. It's not that end product.
100%. And I got to tell you, one thing I did on set, which I thought, at first people thought I was joking, but this is a very real thing. This is how I live my life, right? I said, we shot, I gathered everybody around. I said, hey, listen, nobody bring me a problem. I was like, do not come up to me with a problem. I don't want to hear it. I got too many things I'm worried about. You can bring me an opportunity.
There you go.
Do not bring me a problem. So, people laughed. I was like, no. I'm 100% serious. So I give this example of like, we had a day and, we're trying to move. You got to go quick. And my producer comes up and he's like, so we have we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity. I'm like, oh, what's the opportunity? We have an opportunity to shoot in a different location, which is different from, oh crap, we lost our location. What are we gonna do?
Absolutely. It's a whole different mindset.
It's completely different. But if you think about that, if you apply that to every day, instead of it being a problem, what's the solution? What's the opportunity? Because I don't want to just hear you complain and bitch about stuff. Exactly. What are you gonna do about it? Like, we gotta shoot, so what are we gonna do?
Exactly. You got to do the work. No matter what. So yeah, everything's an opportunity. Given the chance to make the film is an opportunity itself. So you got to lift up, elevate, make the best out of whatever situation. Talking to you, world, and and also I see a YouTube channel in your future, a motivation YouTube channel.
It's some stuff I'm working on. I got a little thing I'm cooking up right now. Called Do Better University. Because I always talk about do better and do the work and all that. So I've decided I'm going to give out all the secrets about how to do the work and do better. And spoiler alert, you just got to do it. This is me telling a secret.
Now with Atypical Wednesday, which is I saw the trailer, I saw scenes. I'm excited about it because I didn't know what to think. I know you've been talking about it for a little while. I'm like, and I finally saw it. Right up my alley. It's like a feel good, but really speaking to some issues, dark comedy that is also focusing on some human truths, which is one of the great things I love about the Orville. Right. I love sci-fi. We're flying around in space, we're meeting aliens, all this stuff, but it really has those human moments. Like with John Lamar, the first thing that attracted me to your character was when Captain Mercer was meeting the crew for the first time. Everyone has their questions. John Lamar, which is something a human would totally do. Are we still allowed to have sodas? Yeah. And right there, I was like, this is a human show.
Yeah. And I'll tell you why I love that line so much for John's character. It was one of the moments of like, depending on how Captain Mercer answers this question, will determine how much respect John Lamar gives him for the duration of this time. So I'm going to ask you this really asinine question. Yeah, I'm super smart, all that. Can I have soda on the bridge?
Yes,
because the last captain left. What are you going to do about that? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then once he answers it, like, yeah, I guess so, as long as you don't spill.
That's when we got our first little boom right there.
First boom.
Yeah, and in Atypical Wednesday, the moment in the trailer that got me, it's a little bit twofold because I'm originally from LA. Okay. And so I always love anything that's LA based, like in a real way. So it's you, Gabe, your character Gabe, and Alec, played by Cooper J. Friedman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Friedman. And you're taking him to his house. You're like, here you go. And he's like, oh, that's not my house. And like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, there's a beach nearby. And you're like, a beach? We're in the valley.
Right.
But if you're from LA, you know what a struggle that is. I had a rule that if you lived more than 5 miles away, we couldn't be friends.
That's it. That's it. It's too far.
Yeah.
It's too far. LA traffic? Nah, listen, you got to move closer or we just can't be pals.
Tell us a little bit, what's the story with Atypical Wednesday? What are you hoping to convey to people with this film?
So I used to write for the Cleveland show, right, back in the day. And I remember this is the first time I had it had real benefits and money, you know. And in the room one day, a friend of mine, very, very funny, talented cat, I won't say his name, but really awesome guy. Somehow we were talking about our weekends. And he said, yeah, you know, I went to therapy, so I'm a therapist, and then I did this with my daughter, and I did this with my wife. And I just remember saying, what are you, therapist? Like, what do you go to a therapist for? Now, this is probably like damn near 10 years ago. And he's like, yeah, I go to therapy. And I'm like, but you're married, you have an awesome wife, family, you're super funny, you're talented, successful. Like, why do you need a therapist? He goes, I am all that because I've been going to see my therapist for 30 years.
Boom.
And I said, oh, wow. Because I always thought therapy and mental health was for people that were crazy or, you know, we didn't know much about it. So he goes, hey, man, you know, we have like dope insurance. You can go just see a mental health professional. I think it'd be worth it. So I was like, whatever. And then I was so nervous about the idea. And then I finally looked into it. It took me some weeks. I found a therapist and I was so nervous. It almost felt like seeing a girl at the bar and you're like, do I want to go talk to her? I don't know. I should, but I don't, you know. So I finally reached out, set up an appointment. I found a therapist. And I remember the first time I went, I was like, man, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. This is going to be a long 45, 50 minutes. And then the next thing I know, I'm like, just talk. And she's like,
all built up.
She's like, time's up. So I would go every Wednesday, right? So as I was going every Wednesday, there was this fake plant in the waiting room. And I would take these pictures like, fix me, doc, like back at therapy. So that became this running thing. There was this white kid I would see on the elevator every Wednesday. And we never really spoke. He was real quiet. He was like 9 years old. And he would be with his mom or his grandmother. And I think he had like a session around the same time in the building, but on a different floor or whatever. So I would always catch him on the elevator on my way. And after a couple times, like I'd see him, he was real shy, but he'd look at me and I kind of give him a little, what's up? You know, he'd look up and he kind of, you know, and I could tell he was just shy and had a lot of, you know, things he was working on. I never even knew kids were going to therapy, you know, growing up. That was so taboo. So anyway, this one time I was going through a bunch of stuff. A lot of stuff is coming up. I'm trying to heal a lot of stuff, deal with a lot of stuff. So I'm mad. Every Wednesday, I'm in there pissed, just, you know, going through it. So this one day I see this kid on the elevator and he's got on some new shoes. I was like, hey man, I like your shoes. And he just kind of looked up and smiled. And his mom was like, see, like the shoes I got you, they're nice, huh? And so we just had that moment. I get to my therapist's office and she's like, wow, you're in a really good mood today. And I said, oh yeah, I just saw my little homie on the elevator. She's like, what? I said, no, every Wednesday, this little white kid is my best friend. He's like my best friend. And she looked at me like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I remember in that moment, I said, oh, this is a good movie idea. So I literally went home and I wrote this movie based on this guy, this black dude, early 30s, going to therapy, meets this white 9-year-old kid, complete opposite. And the world looks at them a certain way. But for whatever reason, they see each other and they become best friends in this sort of unexpected way. So in the movie, and you can tell from the trailer,
yeah, absolutely,
the kid, you know, his mom or grandmother forgets to pick him up. So my character is like, well, what are you gonna do? And the kid's hitchhiking. He's like, dog, I'll just give you a ride home. And then they end up together, and then like a bunch of crazy stuff happens. And then you find out the kid actually doesn't know where he lives and can't figure out where his parents are. And now it's this weird, odd couple. But they're still both dealing with life issues, and my character Gabe is not the best role model, but he talks to and he treats Alec like a real person.
Yeah.
And vice versa, because I think we get in this, and especially nowadays, and we don't know how to talk to each other like real people.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and even kids want that.
Kids especially want it. Kids like, talk to me like I know what you're saying. Yeah. Just talk to me like a regular human. I might not be as smart as you because I'm not as old as you, but talk to me like a regular person. Don't talk at me. So that was the concept of the movie, and I literally wrote the first draft in like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, inspired. Inspired, and you can see that interaction between not only Gabe and Alec in the trailer, but now hearing your story of that it actually really happened. And it's nice because we as humans, we just want to be seen. Sometimes we don't know how to do that in a positive way. It's easier to go negative to be seen. So when you went to your therapist after complimenting his shoes and having that little moment, you said you were in a good mood.
Yeah.
So just seeing somebody and having them feel that they were seen, reflected right back on you.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? This kid, he probably has no idea the impact of that brief interaction on the elevator 7 times has done for my entire life, and vice versa. I don't know if that helped him out. I don't know if he's like, yeah, I got a black friend. I used to see every Wednesday. Who knows?
Yeah, he's a young entrepreneurial shoe designer at this point.
At this point, he's created a way to not ever scuff a shoe.
Well, in the film, you got such a great cast. You got Emmy Raver Lampman as your hopeful, significant other, the right person for you. Sure. Seth Green. Everybody knows Seth Green. He's kind of a little bit of a competition for you. Michael Ealy is your therapist, Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
Is he in any way, shape, or form kind of anything close to the therapist you had? No, she was a girl, right?
Yeah. So when I first sought out my therapist, I specifically wanted a black woman because I just wanted to. For whatever reason, I just want to talk about issues in life, and I was going through some relationship stuff, and I was like, let me unpack a lot of this stuff. So I specifically sought out a female black therapist. But when I did the table read, funny enough, Pauletta Washington, Denzel Washington's wife, amazing actor. She did the read, killed it. And then my editor, Jim, we were talking later, and he was like, he's like, my editor is like this young, hip, cool dude, and I think we had this association of like therapists being, more mature and completely put together, and like Pauletta Washington is so poised and so just like, she's literally the smartest person in a room every time. You know what I mean? So it automatically had that sort of like feel. So my buddy, my editor was saying his therapist feels like this, almost like I'm a mess too, but I'm a therapist.
Yeah.
That made me go, oh, there could be an interesting link about him having this therapist that's also a black man who's just, let me just give it to you straight. And this is what it is. But he's a person too, I should say. And I think one thing I've tried to highlight in the movie is everyone is dealing with their own stuff. So, so Michael Ealy, he came on, killed it, so good in it. And the stuff that's funny is hysterical because he's such a good actor, and it's so like it's grounded, which makes a lot of the funny stuff funny. Seth Green, buddy of mine, I've been knowing him for a minute. He plays Emmy Raver's ex-fiance. And he's like a very successful, cool dude. Everybody loves him except Dave.
Yeah, he's got the little ponytail, so he's successful.
He's very, and he's just loving and successful and got money. And so he came on, killed it, did an amazing job. And Emmy Raver, she auditioned. No, didn't audition. She sent in, I think her people just sent in her headshot and resume. And she was just somebody I met with. So we just met, but it was blind. It was through casting. And as soon as I met her, we went to lunch. We talked about the movie. And I was like, oh, done and done. She's Millie.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're probably on Denzel Washington's Dunzo list.
No, right? No, she was. I think she was shooting something else anyway. So I think she was like, I got to go do this anyway. So it kind of all worked out.
You know, going from, you show up on the Orville, Fox is there, not necessarily with a big smile, but they're writing checks. They're saying, go make your show, we'll make your show. I don't know, in this day and age, I know it's hard for the biggest names out there to pull together, funding to make a movie anymore.
Yeah.
Was that a big struggle for you?
Yes and no. I like to invest back into my art. Mm-hmm. So I'm not a flashy guy. I don't go off and buy a bunch of crazy things. Like if I make some money, I usually make a movie or a TV show or a short film. So I looked at my account and I'm like, okay, how much? Let me actually go back. I'd had a lot of interest in the movie for years.
Yeah.
People loved it. They read the script. They're like, this is great. And I'm like, cool. You going to help me get some money for it or what? And I had a lot of meetings. And you know how LA is. Mm-hmm. A lot of meetings.
Oh, yeah.
Meetings and meetings on meetings.
Yeah, meetings about when we're going to have a meeting.
Yeah, so we should meet to set up the next meeting and then meet about that.
Yeah.
And then take the minutes from that meeting, then meet. I'm like, okay. So after some years, I was like, you know what, forget it. I looked at my account. I said, how much money could I realistically spend to make a movie? I found a price point. I'm like, cool, I'm going to go with it. And I said, if I can just get it shot, I'll deal with post later.
Yeah.
But what happened is once I had a price point, and this goes back to doing the work, once I went from saying I have a movie I'm trying to make to saying I'm in pre-production, everything shifted. Because now I'm in pre-pro. And pre-pro is literally me saying, I look at my account, I say, okay, look, I'm in pre-production. I'm going to shoot this movie in November. So let's say it's June. I said June, July, August, September, October, November, 5 months. I'm like 2 months. I'll work on the script. Boom, boom. 3 months of pre-pro, shooting in November.
Yeah, you added the deadline, which makes it real.
Boom. So then people came in and they were like, oh, do you need this? Or do you need cameras? And do you need casting? And the casting directors from some casting from Orville cast my film. My DP was a camera out from Orville. Friends, I knew Michael Ealy before. Seth Green, like I said, is a buddy of mine. Mm-hmm. Kellen Coleman, Michael Mosley, they're in it. Awesome. They came on board and murdered it.
Even Mark Mamone is in it, who got thrown out of the airlock in Identity, Part 2. I think I know stuff.
Good spot.
I got an eye. I don't know if it was for sure. It was so quick. I think I saw Kevin Daniels in there as a detective.
You saw Kevin Daniels in there.
All right. Hashtag justice for Locar, you guys.
Can I tell you a quick funny story about that?
Oh, of course. Oh, the Orville story? Nah.
Oh, no. It's good. So Kevin Daniels, buddy of mine, long story short, he was on the show called Sirens with Mike Mosley. Mm-hmm. That's how I met Mike, right? I was talking to Kevin. Kevin's extremely funny. Big black dude, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I just want to put you in something that's just gritty. Because he was always doing comedy. So long story short, I write this movie called Career Suicide. Write it, shoot it, short film. It's like a 30-minute film. Kevin Daniels plays this character who's on the edge. And he's like, I'm done with everything. And I'm going to go do some crazy stuff and shoot up my office. Because I hate everybody I work with. And I'm going to shoot myself. Dark comedy.
Yeah, he needs some therapy right there.
He definitely needs some therapy. We make Career Suicide. Movie comes out well. I have a screening at Seth's house. Like a private screening. Seth sees it. He's like, man, that guy's dope. We should put him in the Orville. So boom, then the Locar role comes up. Kevin plays Locar, completely murders it. So great in that episode. So that's how Kevin ended up being connected to Orville. So then when I made Atypical Wednesday, I called him up. I'm like, hey, I just want you to be in my movie. And he came on, he plays a detective.
Now, one thing that you mentioned when you're talking about, people coming together to start helping you out, at the pre-pro section, at the pre-pro level, is because I think at that point, you became someone who was doing something as opposed to someone who is talking about doing something. Because I mean, anytime someone asks me to do something, I just say yes, because I know they're never going to do it.
Right.
Because that's how we are in most cases. Most of us talk about things and we don't do the things that we're hoping to do.
Yeah. Oh, and I've run into a few people who I say I'm going to do something, they don't expect it, and then I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I thought, oh, okay, I thought you were just talking. And if you know me, I don't know how to not do it.
Yeah, well, you know, it comes about, and I was thinking about this just earlier today. I do not ever want to be someone that wastes someone else's time.
100%.
Because I don't like people wasting my time. And, you know, and so I always say yes, because there is that small chance that they are going to do it, right? And then as soon as that chance comes, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stick to my word. Yeah. I'm going to go all out. You don't have to do it very often, but if you get the opportunity, not problem.
No problem. And I just thought about this. I want to go back to Pauletta Washington real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The movie Career Suicide, Pauletta was in my film. She played Kevin Daniels' mother.
Oh, wow.
So she played
another
Kevin
connection.
Mother. Yeah, so that's how I even asked her. I was like, do you mind, doing this table read for Atypical Wednesday? So that's how that connected. So I was actually able to work with her. She was phenomenal. So good. Yeah, so she was in Career Suicide.
Well, everybody check out Career Suicide. Check out a lot of things. I was just watching Two Black Dudes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so weird. Just like 3 months ago, like in March, you put out an episode on YouTube that was called Lives Matter. It was hilarious, but it had a great message, but in a comedic way.
Yeah.
And you'd almost thought you had some foresight.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the episode, for if people haven't seen it, I played this character, Howard Ahmed Best, who you guys may know as Jar Jar Binks. Mm-hmm. One of my best friends plays Jason in this show. And this was the second season of the show. And I was seeing all these atrocities, and you see what's going on in the news and in the world right now. And I wanted to figure out a way to talk about it, mm-hmm. but in a way that, because I like to always say, if I can make you think, laugh, cry, and do better, I've done my job as an artist. So I had this idea about Howard and Jason seeing another, unjustified police shooting. And they're like, we should take a police training course, because this mm-hmm. is crazy. And then they take the course and
they're just shooting everybody.
They're horrible. And then, at the end of the episode, you see another tragedy. But the thing I tried to highlight on it was the idea of fear. Because if you go back and watch that episode, just pay attention to how many times in the simulations, Howard or Jason say, I was scared. Mm-hmm. And I think the world we live in, a lot of nonsense comes from the fear. So
fear drives everything.
Fear drives everything. So it's not that people are just inherently terrible. You fear what you don't know. And then when you get in these situations where you don't know how to operate, the fear kicks in, and the next thing you know,
you're going right to your baser instincts.
That's it. So in the episode, I just tried to highlight that in a way that was like, very real, but still funny, not knowing. Yeah, I put that out on my birthday, March 23rd. Mm-hmm. Cut to 3 months later,
Yeah, there you go. And happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you, bro.
And or belated birthday. And yeah, and like you said, fear. Everything leads to fear. Everything that's ever stopped me from doing anything, and there's a lot of things that I've been stopped from doing, is all from fear. Fear of being a failure, fear of the work, fear of how people are going to judge you, when really none of that matters.
None of it matters. Me and my buddy Ahmed, we talk about this all the time. Mm-hmm. There is no lose. You either win or you learn. That's it. You cannot lose. You win or you learn.
Ahmed Best will know about fear, because in Star Wars, they say fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. And you got to throw some Star Wars in there anytime you do it.
By the way, Jedi Temple Challenge came out today.
Yeah, I saw him posting some pictures of it, and I was like, I didn't look into it, because I'm an internet user. We just look at pictures and we keep scrolling, right?
Yeah, we don't need those words.
with Atypical Wednesday comes out at the end of the month. I know that Gravitas Ventures is doing the distribution, and I know it's available for pre-order right now.
Yes.
On iTunes.
iTunes is the only place you can pre-order. But on the 26th, I think it's going to come out on multiple digital platforms. Google Play, Fandango now. I think Amazon is going to carry it. Apple Mute or
TV.
Yeah, Apple TV. I think they're going to carry it. So it's going to be on a lot of different digital platforms. But the iTunes pre-order, the more numbers we can get, the better it'll track. And because I want everybody to really see this movie.
I'll put a link to the trailer down below, you guys, so you can check it out. The movie is right up my alley. Using comedy to portray, like I said earlier, human truths. It's one of the things that, besides just, awesome sci-fi that drew me to the Orville. There's the word that just came out that, Hollywood's going to reopen on the 12th. I'm like, well, what does that even mean? How is that even possible? Sure, maybe some small productions could do it. I just don't, and I said this like a month ago, if restrictions are released, I doubt that, most, especially on the Orville, people are very scientifically minded. They're not going to go with the recommendations of the government. They're going to wait to see what the scientists say.
Well, that's a big part of Seth. Seth is a very, let's just look at this from a scientific, factual place, which I appreciate. So yeah, I heard that we're supposed to be opening back up on the 12th. I'm just still waiting to see. I'll get the call. They'll say, "Hey Jay, we need you on set at some point." I don't know if it's gonna be the 12th, but I think
I doubt it'll be the 12th.
Nah, it's not. But I think we'll be going back though, which feels good. I mean, this season is so dope, man. So
I know.
dope.
I keep hearing things from you guys. It's gonna be so big. You got some new, visuals going on, and a little bit more, still the same heart.
Yeah.
Some big adventures. We're just hoping. Everybody says this. I don't know if you've heard it, but everybody wants a legit, hardcore John and Gordon adventure.
Yeah.
Everybody wants you guys to team up.
Yeah. I miss being on the bridge with them sometimes. Once John got, the chief engineering job, a lot of them shenanigans, But you see that more this season a little bit. But a big John and Gordon episode, I think, would be awesome.
It would. I mean, we in the comic books, it might have been Word of Avis, where both of your characters are in the environmental simulator, and you're having this Mongolian fight or something like that. Yeah. Everyone's like, we want that on the show, but for the full hour.
It's been discussed. It's been discussed.
Well, one of these seasons. I mean, we still got 12 more seasons of the Orville to go.
At least. And you know what? I can't. This might not be factual, but I can only imagine the way Seth's brain works. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he was writing over this time. So we're not done with season 3. So
no, there's probably going to be some updates to some of the scenes.
Boom.
I'm pretty sure, absolutely, because
that might not be too far off. You never know.
I could tell you as someone, it's very, in my space all the time. It's nice to have a conversation about real things. Yeah. Every once in a while.
And look, man, I'm gonna tell you something. I am a fan of what you do. Like I stumbled on your page. I think this was the beginning of Orville, and you had just such in-depth details about the show and even the episode. I was like, "Ooh, he got an inside plug here."
No.
But that's just, you do the work. So when I watch your channel, I'm just watching as a fan. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you. I'm trying to do better. And a lot of my focus like that has changed because of people from the Orville. Tom Constantino, awesome. He's really guided me in a lot of ways. Sometimes I'll say, "Hey man, I'm thinking about doing a video on this, Orville related or whatever, something that came up in the news." And he's like, "You're better than that." And I was like, "Oh, maybe I am better than that." Yeah,
I like that. I like a little challenge.
JLee, thank you for stopping by Egotastic Studio, Egotastic FunTime. With your expertise, your insight, your wisdom into just everything awesome. And hopefully we can do it again sometime.
I would love to, man. I appreciate you having me on, and you're awesome. And keep up the good work. Big boom.
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 All the booms. Damn it.